And from all that I can tell, we are now live. So welcome to the very first Facebook Live for Marketing Leaders Lab. I am absolutely playing without a net here, so I don't have some fancy setup. There are a lot of things about this particular setup that I wish I could improve. So, but we'll get into that for a second. So let's do some quick kind of setup here. If this is the first piece of content you've ever seen from this group. So first of all, why does the group exist? I am excited about helping leaders shape better businesses, especially for those who sell digital marketing services. There is the blank of the day that comes out every single day. There's always some new hack, trick, toy, something that comes up every single day. And that becomes your distraction. You're always learning about some hack, secret, trick, or toy, and you're trying to sell that hack, secret, trick, or toy to your clients. I think it's broken. I think it's not working. And I think a much better approach is to think through your business as a business and design it the way you want to design it. Now that can be a very high-minded, heavy thing, but today in this video here, we'll bring some clarity to that. But the basic idea here is you don't need more marketing stuff. You don't need more marketing tools or concepts. What you need is a better design for your preferred business. And I want to talk about that design. So that's what this group is for. So there you go. There's that. So I've got some notes here. I've got a bit of an agenda. Right now in this group, we are just under 200 members as of this exact moment, just under 200 members. We're at 196. And I really want to give a shout out to some people who have done their part to make this group feel like a group. They have this group feel like a community. And so let me look those people up because, hey Nelson, hey Jack, I see you both here in the comments here. So speaking of Nelson and Jack, so I want to give a shout out to Jack Peters, who has responded thoughtfully in many different threads in the group. He's asked his version of his share of questions. He also has expressed himself authentically, and I really appreciate him for being engaged in so many posts. David Martin has done much of the same. He's been listening. He's been saying, listen, this is my experience. Here's the way I address things today. You know, kind of take it or leave it, right? But he's been very clear about what his perspective is and trying to be valuable in that way. So thank you so much, David. Xander has posted often, asking his number of questions, offering his expertise, his experience to this point. Thank you, Xander. Mike Peterson has also done the same. Ask for questions, offer some questions. Mike has also been unafraid to articulate some things kind of under the surface, things you don't always talk about publicly. Mike has been open to say, listen, sometimes my days are feeling a bit scrambled. How do I do better about that? How do I prioritize things, et cetera, et cetera. Kyle has done the same flow, just really authentically. So I want to say thank you to those top 5 for engaging in the group, helping it feel like a group, helping it feel like an actual community. Now, I got to give an honorable mention to Nelson Del Pino. So Nelson, I think he's interesting is because Nelson, he'll tell you himself, is a little bit cynical about marketing as an art form. Just a bit cynical about it, number one. Number two, he'll admit very quickly some of these things he's not familiar with. But I'm saying to Nelson now, just like to everybody else, you know more than you think you do. Your perspective is always valuable. And so asking those questions, even when you think you may not be sure, etc., all creates the dialogue, and the dialogue makes us better. So thank you to those folks. All right, so Lindsay's here. Hey, Lindsay, how are you? All right, what else do I have here? Okay, so I got some things here. I want to talk about perfectionism. I want to talk about pricing. I want to talk about getting better clients, and I want to talk about approach. And so those are 4 topics here. How long is this video going to be? How long is this live going to be? I don't know. I don't know. I don't plan to talk you to death because I don't think there's a lot of value in that. So I like to be as specific as I can, as helpful as I can for every minute that I'm in front of you. We'll just kind of see what happens here. I'm gonna do my best to be brief. If there are questions or comments, etc., then I'll respond to those. So we're first time. We're feeling our way through it, right? Okay. Troy, thank you, sir. Troy said he's seen a lot of the YouTube content. He says it's top rated. I appreciate that. Hey, Lynn, how are you? Okay, perfectionism. So I've been preparing for this Facebook Live for the last hour. So right now it's 1:05 p.m. Eastern. I've been preparing for it since at least noon. Okay, that's physical preparation, putting stuff in place, trying to get the lighting right, all that kind of stuff. I've been thinking about doing a Facebook Live for weeks, if not months. Okay, so there's a way I'd like this whole thing to go, and it's probably not going to meet my expectations. The lighting's not perfect. By the way, these things right here, that and this, those are called hot spots. Let's see, those are called hot spots. And they're hot spots because I've got lighting above me and they're reflecting off the whiteboard. I see those hot spots. Like man, listen, they are screaming at me right now. You probably didn't see them until I pointed to them. But I'm trying to make the point about perfectionism. If I spent the next 3 weeks or 3 months trying to find an elegant way to remove the hot spots, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I have to make a decision. Is it more important for me to be perfect, or is it more important for me to be helpful? I got to decide, perfect or helpful. And I try my best in my own business to keep being helpful, to not let perfectionism get in the way of being helpful. And if you take that point and turn it around to your own situation, I bet there's a lot of places where that rings true. You're trying to perfect your email copy, perfect your pitch to new clients. You're trying to perfect your website, perfect your content marketing strategy, perfect your webinar outline, whatever. And while you perfect it, no one's getting value from it because it's still internal to you, right? So you got this perfectionism takes on a lot of forms. If you let it, it'll be an absolute stop sign for your business. So sometimes you got to stop and reflect and am I in my own way, right? Can I deal with the hot spots? Can I deal with the hot spots in the spirit of being helpful? And so there you got it. There you have it. In fact, while we're on the point of being perfectionist, if there's something that you are thinking about right now that you know you're having an issue with perfectionism about, admit it. Admit it right now in the comments. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, Beatrix, I appreciate that. She talked about her perspective on structuring her offering. We talk a lot about that in this group. Productized services and what that means and how to deploy those. I think that's a very powerful thing that's missing from a lot of businesses. The idea and concept of a productized service. Great. Okay, so let's continue. So that's that about perfectionism. We can do a whole lot more than that, but as we need to. Okay. Talk about pricing, right? Pricing is a place where a lot of people get hung up. How do you price your services? Okay, let's admit together that first of all, pricing is about context. So depending on the type of client you serve, what you charge can change. Can we just be right? Can we be adults about that, mature about that? It depends. So there's no magic pricing matrix. That idea, throw it out the window. Okay. My argument is, if you're going to spend the time, you personally, if you're going to spend your personal effort working with clients, then you should be charging a premium. You should value your effort at a premium. So the pressure of being the lowest cost provider, the pressure of being cheaper than the people across the street, the pressure of discounting your services because you perceive that a client or two or three would value the discount. Erase all of that from your thinking. Not the point. If you are going to spend your precious time truly helping clients change their situation, you should price that at a premium. Contrast that to all the other options that do not involve real, authentic help from real people, and that do not actually change the situation for the better. Especially in the world of digital marketing, there's so many different tools and toys and stuff people can buy that no one helps them use. They got to figure it out all on their own, one. And two, once they finally get it and figure it out and whatever, and install the thing, Does it change their situation? Does it actually help them make their business better? Too often it's no and no. Too often no, that no one helps you actually use the thing, and no, it doesn't actually make the situation better. So then, one more time, in contrast, in your situation, if you're going to actually focus on focus and then get involved, helping that client improve, and then two, if you actually can measure the improvement, that's a premium offering. That's premium. Therefore, it should be priced at a premium. So if you let that just digest for a second, just this whole idea of premium, there's a lot of junk, mental junk about pricing that you can now exclude. You don't have to, you can now, not your problem anymore, right? Pricing. Okay. Okay. So now let's go into pricing a bit more. Let's think about that a bit more critically. Okay. Many of the issues, or a common issue that my clients face when trying to shape a service and create the right pricing, is the expert, you, forget how much is involved in delivering the particular service that we're talking about. You forget, because for you it's intuitive, it's internal, you've been doing it for so long, it's kind of automatic for you. But if we take the classic example of creating a website, classic example of just getting a website up, right? They don't have one, they need one. So how many pages are going to be in that website? Scope of work. What content is going to be in that website? Like, what actually is going to go on the pages? Where are you going to host that website? Where should the website be hosted? What domain name should we choose for the website, right? What is the primary call to action on that website? Because there can be many. It could be buy something, it could be download something, it could be register for a newsletter, etc., right? Okay. Just those 5 are serious business questions. They're not fly-by-night, oh, we might do that, add this, add that. No. Those are legitimate business questions. Those are the kind of questions that affect the momentum of a business. Notice I'm not talking about color schemes or logos or other stuff, right? What theme you want to choose. Those are the kinds of questions that drive business momentum. Those kinds of questions typically go under-asked. They're not asked often enough. And they go under-answered. They're not answered clearly enough. And so because you didn't ask the right questions and you didn't demand clear answers, then you end up with the project that nobody likes to be in. Pricing. If you will be clearer about what the most important questions are, if you will be clearer about helping your client come up with the correct answers, we're now talking about premium. We're now in a premium space now. Because this whole engagement is about getting massive value, helping them actually create a website that actually helps their business. So those are the kinds of questions you should be asking. If you're really focused on those questions and getting great answers from those questions, that deserves the premium you would charge. So now, what's the value of that? What number should you put on that? Can we pause that for a second? Just hold on for a second. Hold a second. Is your service set up in such a way where you are asking the right questions and demanding clarity on that questions before starting work? Is your business, is your service set up that way? It doesn't matter what you charge. If your service isn't set up that way, your client won't be happy with the end result. Ta-da. Right? Okay. If your service is designed to ask those kinds of questions and get those kinds of answers, then now you can propose the proposition with your client. What's it worth to you if this is not done? So we got to get answers to the following things. Now, you can try to go over there and get it done over there, but they aren't going to ask you these questions. And when you get done with them, they're not going to provide these answers. So what's that worth to you? Now, at this moment, I'm purposely not putting a number on the table because I don't want you to anchor to a number. I want you to anchor to how you've got to be thinking and how you got to serve your clients so you can get to a better number. right? So other numbers that make sense, sure, you can go look them up, search Google, how much does the website cost? Boom, those are your numbers. But the difference between random agency, web design agency A, and your agency is the intentionality in your service. That's what drives the pricing, and that's what drives premium pricing. Okay, there's pricing. If there's questions about pricing, clearly we can do that some more. But ask the question, and then I'll kind of go with that. All right. All right. So Jack is right on time here. As I was about to move on. So Jack says define premium. We just started to have that conversation. I think that there's a fear of losing clients, so one may have a tendency to lowball the price just to get someone in the door. Okay. I saw a quote from Dan Kennedy the other day. So it's not my quote. I'm getting it from Dan Kennedy. I might misquote it, but you'll get the essence. Okay. You make a sale to get a customer. You do not make a customer to get a sale. You make a sale to get a customer. You do not make a customer to get a sale. So what does that mean practically, right? You make a sale to get a customer. In other words, we are beginning a relationship, customer, and I plan to have this relationship for perpetuity. Frankly, I plan to be an awesome service provider to you and your company for as long as we can stand it. I'm looking forward to a long-term relationship. What we'll do is the reverse. Is we will do whatever we have to do. We'll fire sale, right? Cut prices in half in order to get a customer, just to get started. You make a sale, right? Or you get a customer. Hurry up so you can make some money. So you can get a transaction. And what do we know? What do we already know about customers who come in via fire sales? Customers that come in via deep discounts. Customers that come in and don't fully understand what they're committing to. We don't like working with them, and they end up not like working with us. They don't fully appreciate what they've purchased, so they don't fully commit to it, and therefore all the follow-on things you have to do don't actually get done. Right? It's a bad deal, is what I'm trying to say. It ends up being a bad deal. So you can do a number of things to discount because you don't want to quote unquote lose the opportunity. But isn't it better to say no to that opportunity versus accepting a bad one into your business? Isn't it better to say, you know what, I don't think we're a good fit right now. It's better if you go try the other option. Send them on instead of bringing a client that you had to go through negotiations in order to bring in. That's an attitude thing, right? You got to decide where you live on that spectrum, if you will. So the work I do with my clients is all about client selection. Choose to work with clients that you know you can help. And if you got to go through hard negotiations, it makes it hard to help them. Because if you got to negotiate now, you got to negotiate later. And again, bad rhythm. Good. I'm just checking to see. There's some thoughts that are here. All right. There's some dialogue. I'll come back to it if we need to. Great. So there's a perspective that drives premium pricing, and when you adopt the perspective, not only can you charge more for what you offer, but it ends up being a better arrangement for you and the client you serve. Okay, so now getting better clients, right? Getting better clients. So what the number one question that's asked privately and publicly, on the phone with me, in emails to me, etc. The number one question is, how do I find clients? That question is, how do I find clients? And I struggle with responding to that. Perhaps I'll get better, and I'll get better answers as I get better. But the trouble that I have with finding clients is that question assumes that there's some client getting store you can go to, and that you can walk into the front door, and they're at 123 Main Street. So if you just drive down to 123 Main Street, open the front door, there'll be a bunch of clients just waiting for you right inside that door. And that's not the truth. We all know that. Practically, we know that's not the truth. What ends up happening in your business is that you get opportunities. Opportunities come your way. And the better system you have, the better opportunities that come. Let that be a second conversation for a second. Opportunities come your way, right? And you get to decide, you as the expert, you get to choose which opportunities are worth your effort. And the best way, the easiest way to make the right decision on what clients to work with and what clients you shouldn't work with, the easiest way to make that decision is to look at your service model and to ask yourself, can I use my service model to help these clients? Yes? Take off running. Sign here. Why are we still waiting? Let's go. Or can I use my service model to help these clients? I'm not sure. I don't know if we can help them. Then the answer is no, and you move on. You go do something else. Right? That's the easiest way to find better clients is to look at the service model that you currently have and to be honest if your service model can help these clients. Now here's the rub. Here's the $1 million rub. If your service model is unclear, if you don't know what's inside your service model, if you're changing your service model every single time, if you are willing to alter your service model every single time, then you can't make the comparison, right? This is moving. This is not clear. So now you say, well, can we help them? I'm not sure because our service keeps changing. Can we help them? I'm not sure. Our service keeps changing, and that becomes the internal friction that's going through your mind. You can't make that clear choice because your service keeps changing. So then, the easiest way, again, to kind of bring that home and make sure this is palatable, the easiest way to attract better clients is by offering a more defined service. Is to tell people we can help you get X done in X number of days with X number of steps. We can help you build a website in 30 days and 9 steps. We can help you, Jack, because I know Jack asked the question, and Jack is in the copywriting business. So we can design a year's email newsletter strategy for you. We can do it in a week, and it takes us 2 primary steps. That's so much more concrete to talk about. But if you're willing to do, and you've heard me talk about this before, if you're willing to offer 19 different services, SEO, video optimization, YouTube marketing, Twitter marketing, copywriting, website copy, landing page copy, web design, logo creation, Facebook ad, if you're willing to do all those different things, it's really hard to promise a client we can get you X in Y time with Z number of steps. So trying to provide some context for you so you can help think that through. But what I'm describing is the beauty of having a productized service. I'm describing the elegance that takes place when you have a service that has a fixed time, a fixed scope, and a fixed price. It's so much easier to do that. But what that requires from you is that you have to sit down, be the expert. You've got to sit down and define what it is that you do. You got to define it. And as we are learning, right, that's harder than it sounds. It sounds so slick and so smart, and oh my gosh, I should have done that 10 years ago. But committing to a service and letting that service be your commitment to the client, it's more strategic than it sounds. It involves a number of things up here that a lot of other programs frankly don't talk about. They just say sell them SEO, and then you find out how hard it is to sell SEO. Things break from here, right? Okay. Great. So I'm gonna come back to getting better clients in just a second. All right. So let's review here. So I'm reading here. So right, Jack is making a point about the better question, or brings up the question of how to fill your pipeline with quality clients. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. I'm gonna get details about that in a second. Okay, great. Okay, so now Jack is asking me a question. Can you address the difference between prospect follow-up and chasing clients? I've always been great at follow-up, but now it appears sometimes that it may appear to be chasing, which is not good. Okay, right. So yeah, okay, all right. So let's talk about follow-up. Okay, all right. 2 big ideas. Number 1, Number one, much of the sales training you get that you can buy in books or an expert can train you on, or maybe you've seen videos or other content, much of that sales training bears old school assumptions, which was sales were made over the phone. You picked up the phone and you called folks until they died, basically. I mean, you called and you followed up and you called and you followed up and you called and you followed up. And that is an approach. That's not a bad approach. It's just an approach. You can do it or not do it. Okay. But here's what's important about 2018, about where we are now, is permission-based marketing is now a thing. Permission-based marketing is not a concept. It's a thing where people have the choice of receiving the messages you offer them. They can choose to receive the messages you offer them. You can subscribe to YouTube channels. You can opt in for newsletters. You can decide what's in your Facebook feed. You can decide what's in your LinkedIn feed, et cetera, right? You can decide which emails you receive. And I mean, right? There's a lot of, this is all permission-based marketing. So follow-up in the way that you may get it from a classic sales manual looks different in today's marketplace. Fact, that's truth. Deal with it. It's a reality. Great. Okay. So then, in every business, there should be a permission-based follow-up mechanic, a permission-based follow-up mechanism. And this is something we create with my clients inside the program. But conceptually, you understand this. If you're just calling people up and just kind of calling them every week, that person on the other end of the phone knows they don't have to answer the phone. They know that they can get similar information from another source and opt into it. They can choose to receive other information. So that there's some friction with the old school model, because again, the old school model was made before the internet and all the permission-based stuff was created. So I'm trying to draw a bright line between some of the sales training that's currently still out there, sales models that are still out there, and what your customer, frankly, is desiring to receive. All right, now, so you need to have some sort of permission-based mechanic inside your business. All right, if you've got that, if you understand that you've got that, the next thing I would offer to you is, does your permission-based follow-up mechanic point to a real problem in the client's business? Now that's either a yes or a no. And if I pose that question and in your mind you're still going, I'm not sure, then the answer is no. So even when you are asking people to, if you're requesting permission to follow up over the long term, you got to make it clear from the very first interaction that you are trying to solve a problem in their world. You're not trying to sell a service in their world. You're trying to solve a problem in their world. And you got to change your language, change your focus, change your approach so that it's incredibly clear to the person you're contacting that you are solving a problem for them. That wasn't always the case with old school sales mechanics. So there's more to that if we can talk about, if we want to go deeper into that. But I'm trying to draw a very bright line here, is that you need to have some level of permission-based mechanic in your business. A, B, even when you have that and you have permission to send them emails from now until forever, that every time you touch them, you're trying to solve a problem. Not be their friend, not be their buddy, not be clever or smart or cute, that you're actively trying to solve a problem. You're trying to relieve pain from their world. And there you have it. Okay. All right. All right. So Lloyd's got a question here. What do you do when a company says they are in for your service, but they need to get a green light from the board? Okay. They love the follow-up enthusiasm, but tell you need to follow up. Say nothing for a month and hope they don't forget you. Okay. So let's talk about approach. So Lloyd's asking, you have a conversation with someone. They say yes. They say I'm in, but I gotta get permission from. I gotta get feedback from. I gotta get approval from X. Right? what do I do? What do I do? How do you follow up in that situation? Okay. All right. So let's talk a bit about overall approach, and then we can kind of round that out. So approach is one of my favorite words. I find myself using that word more and more often in conversation. Hey man, that's a poor approach. Like, hey, that's a better approach to get that done. So big picture. So we can do this, and I'm not talking for too long here. Big picture. If you want to cross an ocean, you need a boat. That's the best approach to cross an ocean. You need a boat. You can try to jump across an ocean. You can try to drive across an ocean. Maybe you could argue that makes sense. But it's going to be really hard to cross the ocean if you try to jump or you drive. You can be a world-class athlete. You can be a world-class Olympic-level long jumper. I strongly doubt you'll be able to jump across the ocean. You can be a NASCAR driver professionally and have won 10 races consecutively. It's going to be really hard to drive that car across the ocean. So then the challenge you're having crossing the ocean isn't a matter of your ability. You're a world-class jumper. You're a world-class driver. The challenge you're having crossing the ocean is a matter of approach. You're using the wrong set of tools. You're thinking about it the wrong way. And so a lot of the effort that I'm watching people apply to grow their business is not a matter of their technical ability. It's a poor approach. You're trying to do it the wrong way. You're trying to drive a car across the ocean, and you're drowning trying to figure out what happened. Okay, approach. As a leader of your business, there are 3 core systems that need to be inside your business. A client acquisition system, preferably inbound, where people are coming to you asking you for help with their issue. There should be a client service system. So the moment someone says yes, we all know exactly what's happening next. Bang, 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 and we get to that end result that we all want. Third is a client retention system. So once they've gone through that elegant service of yours, then they'll want to stay around forever. And so you can become a monthly retainer of a service provider, and they pay you every month because what you do is oh so amazing. It is your job inside your business to design those 3 systems. You have to see them as systems. You have to be able to chart them on a whiteboard. They got to be legitimate, predictable, productive systems. If you can't see those systems, if you can't see a client acquisition system, driving a car across the ocean, if you can't see your client service system, driving a car across the ocean, if you can't see your client retention system, you're trying to drive a car across the ocean. So you got to step back from the actual mechanics of your business and go, wait a minute, have I designed service or designed systems that work well inside my business? And for a lot of people, the answer is no, I haven't designed services. I just kind of do stuff and folks just kind of pay me. Okay. So then Lloyd asked the question, what do I do with this follow-up thing? Okay. The way you close clients, the way in your own business, the way you close clients should be a system. It should be a process. There should be a way that you do it. Most often, for most people, there is no process. I'm winging it. It happens as it happens. So I got a call coming up on Tuesday. Great. We talk. You don't want to buy it now? Okay. Then maybe we'll talk next month. I mean, like you guessed your way through it. It's punishing. Isn't it punishing? It's punishing. So then, you should be designing. Got it, Jack. I see your question there. You should be designing an inbound system. Okay. There are a lot of ways to do that. You see how I do it in my business. I create content. I've designed webinars. Got some other stuff we can talk about later. But you see it in my world, right? So there's an inbound mechanics that I have so that folks come to me and ask questions about these specific services that I offer. Got it. Okay. 2. Actually, no. Let me say with that. So Lloyd's question is, you should be setting up your systems so that there is a one call close. So when you're on the phone with a prospective client, the intention is to have that client make a decision when they're on the phone with you. Now, the reason why I said everything I said before that is because if I only said you should have a client make a decision when they're on the phone with you, you will interpret that as a series of tactics, and you'll ask, well, what should I say to make a decision? There is no magic phrase. There is no magic phrase. It's a matter of approach. So you've designed a series of steps where when the client gets on the phone with you, they know they have to make a decision. So when they get on the phone with you, now they're prepared. You're gonna remind them, okay, listen, today we're gonna make a decision. So tell me about what you got going on. Tell me about where it is you want to be. Let's decide on what the most appropriate approach is, or what the most appropriate next step is. Right? I'm telling you that the ability to close clients more quickly is not because you've got some 4-step framework. The ability to close clients more quickly is because you've built a system, and your client appreciates that they're in that system. Okay. Lord, if you got to follow up on that, ask the question. But for most people, they don't have that. Again, you're winging it. You're winging it. Okay, Jack, how do you test to see if our systems actually work? All right, so Jack, this is why you got to hire help, man. And you know, there are a number of systems that I've made available on my own blog. Things you can download, videos you can watch, blog posts you can read, things you can download, where what I'm describing has been stepped out step by step. But what I also know to be true is that trying to install those systems all by yourself is also much more difficult than it sounds. Proof of that is why you are in the business you're in. Is because you know that for your clients, doing certain things is harder than it sounds, and you're trying to help them cross that gap. You're trying to help them solve that problem. And so as I think about my own community and the leadership perspective you need to have, trying to get your head around all of that and make it all go in your business is more complex than it sounds. And you can download all the templates you want, and you're still going to have trouble getting out of your own perfectionism. That's why we started the video with that. Getting out of your own perfectionism and actually making these things work. So that's just the truth, man. That's just the truth. So, but to try to be even more concrete about what Jack is asking, how do you test to see if your systems are working? If you've got a system, a process, and by the way, when I say system or process, it doesn't have to be overly complex. You've seen these fancy funnels with these 37 moving parts. I'm not for it. I'm not with it. Simple is better than complex every single day. So that's not what I'm talking about. But I am talking about some very specific things that occur in a very specific way. The concrete test of your systems come down to metrics. Are you measuring what's happening? And an inappropriate metric is sales. Yep, I said it. An inappropriate metric is sales. The truth is, sales, revenue, is the last thing that happens. It's the last thing that happens. Not the first, it's the last. So in order for someone to become a client and bring revenue into your business, they have to know about you, have heard about you, register for something, get on a call, have a conversation, get some follow-up, and then become a client. So I tried something, I didn't make any sales, is the end of the unfair. You have to measure all of the other things. And again, most of what I'm describing in most businesses is invisible. No one's talking about this. They're not measuring those steps before. They're just talking about sales. Did we make sales? Did we get sales? Sometimes it's just one tweak you make in the process that opens up the door for sales. Sometimes you realize that this is broken, and if you turn it, it'll get your sales down here. The sales won't come from here. They come from here. But you got to tweak it to get that. So process, approach will create systems, and those systems can be tweaked, or those systems can be measured. Sorry. Approach creates systems. Those systems can be measured, and then they can be tweaked to get you the value that you want. For most people, this is invisible. This all sounds like gobbledygook. But this is why this group exists. It's because this is the reality. Sales is the last thing that happens, not the first. So you got to measure all these other important things before you get there. Okay. All right. Okay. Great. So then, I'm going to work to wrap this up. I want to ask you a very direct question. Is it time for us to have a conversation? I appreciate that there's energy in the group, that there's energy in this Facebook Live, and I appreciate you guys for being here. I understand that sometimes you need help, man. You need help. And so what I'm describing is already systemized for you inside the program. And I'd love to talk to you to see if the program that I have will actually help solve your needs. Specifically, right, we're trying to help you design a client acquisition system that's inbound. People come to you to get new leads. Specifically, the program helps you design client service. We call it a productized service, so that there's a precise offering that you have. It's a premium offering. You know what it is. The client knows what it is, and they can just buy it and go wee and just ride away, right? Third is a client retention system, so that one-time engagement becomes a retainer engagement. You can keep clients for the long term. It's a design thing. You got to design these things. Now, brass tacks. Kind of what happens inside the program here. 30 days. In 30 days, you are on the phone talking to clients about your brand new services. That is the design of the offering. In 60 days, those things are now systemized, so that you're doing a lot less of the heavy lifting. 30 days on the phone, 60 days systemized. That is the intention of the program. It's designed that way. So if you want to talk about that in more detail and how it relates to your specific situation, then we should be having a phone call. It's free. Let's just talk about it. So there's a link somewhere around this video, and you can you click it and get called, and we see what happens. So okay. So Beatrix says do more live videos. Great. I'm glad you guys have appreciated this. Yeah, I want to do better. So again, my perfectionism, there are things I want to change and etc. But it looks like for a starting place, we're at a good starting place. I'm excited about that. Good people, I appreciate you for your time. You can't get your time back, so the time is now spent. So it's important for me to maximize every minute that I'm in front of you, and we're good. So I'll see you in the group. That's enough. I'll talk to y'all soon. Take care.